Each of the rabbis will be speaking on the theme of renewal tonight for just a couple of minutes sprinkled throughout the service because we are renewed to be back together. It is so good to be here. When I think of renewal in Judaism, I think of the words that we say when we return the Torah back to the Ark during the Torah service, Chadesh Yamenu Kekedem. Renew us as in days of old, Chadesh Yamenu Kekedem. We sing it right as we close the doors, and it's a beautiful part of this service. I was thinking of you actually, Cantor Addy, because this is a little Hebrew thing. The word Kedem, translated in the prayer book as in days of old, like renew us as in days of old, but it actually means something like east or in front of us, and it refers to the rising sun in the morning. But what would the connection be between east or the sunrise and days of old? So in Judaism, there's a kind of melding between past and present, that the sunrise, the new day, also reminds us of what was. And isn't that what being part of a tradition is all about? To be people who are deeply invested in what was, but also can see what might be. If you've ever had the pleasure of watching the sunrise over the Negev desert or maybe on top of Masada, raise your hand if you've seen that kind of sunrise. You know what I'm talking about? It's gorgeous, right? Like it's just a moment thick with the possibility of what was and what might be. So I want to bless us tonight with this idea of renewal, that our sunrises are full of what was and what will be every day.
We say Shema, and we connect with the holy all around us. We say we're united. All people are part of the one, and to see the holy in each other. And then Judaism tells us to take that recognition, that realization out into the world and to do good in the world to help us see that holy in each other. And we're reminded that when we read the words, as we'll do in English on page 37, the Ve'ahavta. Join with me in this beautiful interpretive reading. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you're tired or you're rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them in the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. And we're then connected to that coming out of Egypt with Micha Mocha.
Have you ever had an MRI? I know that some of you have. It's a remarkable technology, and we are so lucky to live since the relatively recent invention of this tube that can scan the human body and find the problems that need repair. If you're like 5% of the population, however, claustrophobia is a terrible challenge to being inserted into that tube. I am part of the 5%. And the thought of being trapped inside of anything sends me into a panic. However, this past week, I had no choice but to swallow a couple of anti-anxiety pills, which I took way too late, and be rolled into that tube. I instantly panicked and jumped out, breathing hard, pulse racing. But in order to be sure that the surgery I'd had 1 year ago got everything, which, thank God, it did, I had to take a deep breath and go back inside. And then something really miraculous happened. I closed my eyes, and I imagined standing right here inside of this deliciously large, spacious sanctuary of ours. For half an hour, I imagined being here with everyone who ever came into this house of prayer. I imagine being here with all of you in this very grand, sacred space, feeling our connection to our ancient tradition, to this gathering place of ours, and to the centuries ahead of us when future generations will gather here. I got through the rest of the MRI without difficulty. What renews me is showing up here with you. Whether you are here in the sanctuary finding your own safe space to sit, or whether you are sipping your Chardonnay or your Spindrift on your couch, welcoming in Shabbat, welcoming in a holiday, streaming in with us, coming together to sing, to reflect, and to chant, that renews me. It renews us. Every time we gather in this space at Rosh Hashanah or on Yom Kippur, it feels like a great family reunion. It renews my faith and hope for the Jewish future. Every time we gather here, I look out into our congregation and I see congregants who have come through loss. I see congregants who have come through illness. I see congregants who have celebrated a new baby, a bar mitzvah, or a wedding. I see congregants who are Jewish and congregants who are not Jewish, all finding meaning in this gathering. I am renewed. Each Friday when we gather here, we say a prayer for anyone who needs healing, as we will do in a moment. Having come through my own medical situation, I can tell you that communal prayer is powerful. Using this space to pray selflessly for others, not even knowing the people that we're praying for, renews us. Knowing that others are praying for us renews us. And when we gather collectively in this grand space or online, we know we are not alone, and that awareness renews us.